Welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 27-year-old from Rosemere, Quebec, Canada. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada, the USA, Denmark, England, and Germany. A legend with the Lac St. Louis Lions, where he ran an absolute muck as the first team All-Star, most goals, most points, and the league MVP. Then became a champion in the queue with Rimouski Oceanic and had 11 playoff goals. Confirmed gamer, folks. And laced up for Team Quebec in the under-17s, where Andy ripped apart U Sports Canada with Concordia. 24 goals in 28 games played, folks. En route to the first team All-Star, All-Rookie, and all of U Sports Rookie of the Year. He is a fan favorite with the Sheffield Steelers and a Challenge Cup champion. And he is about to run amok with the Manchester Storm. Welcome to the shed, Anthony DeLuca.
Wow, you're really pumping my tires here.
It's
How
called
are you,
it's
man?
called it's called the shed boost. That's what we're looking for here. That's what they call it. When you come to the shed and talk about things, then you go out and run amok. Did you know that?
I like it. I like it.
So I get into how we know each other. We don't. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah. So Manchester just signed you, and I know very not much of the story, but basically they just signed you. I've heard great things in my shed from Simsy and everybody else that's mentioned you, and I just wrote, I really want you in my shed, and here we are.
There you go. That's all okay.
Well, it can happen fast, can it?
Oh yeah, just a couple Instagram messages. Here we are.
Yeah. So then I guess that's kind of like signing in pro hockey though, eh? Probably happened fast or what?
Oh man, it was. I mean, obviously before that suspension and all, there was talks, but nothing can really happen until that was, that date was done.
So you
And
weren't
then as
allowed
soon
to
as like
pre-negotiate?
man, I was like barely allowed to talk about hockey, how like strict they were. They didn't want me like coaching, they didn't want me doing anything. It was pretty wild.
Is that the IIHF?
No, that was like directly from UCAD, and they actually tried to suspend me in the East Coast too. So
Who's
that was
doing that?
UK anti-doping. Yeah, it was yeah, I
And
don't
this
know.
and so just to be clear, because I'm pretty sure, right? This is
Mhm.
over cannabis.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said before on other podcasts, like you can go check up the report. It's all online. I have nothing to hide. It's all about cannabis, and it wasn't. People are saying I was ripping lines and this and that. Like there was
To be
nothing
honest,
of the
that's what
sort.
I figured that's what it was when you got suspended. I didn't think it would be weed. I didn't think it'd be cannabis. Like, so there's a store just down the road here that I could go get
Hmm.
whatever I'd want for the weekend. I could get whatever the THC to if I wanted to be high, but I could also get CBD to like take away pain, right? Like say you have
Hmm.
chronic pain and like doctors prescribe it to you for, and then I don't get it. I guess the UK is way behind when it comes to cannabis.
Yeah. I wish they weren't so far behind, because like you said, it makes it out to be something a lot worse, and everyone jumps to the conclusion of it being weed, or the way they even like formulated that, like whatever little paragraph they had, it sounded like I was on. They literally said performance enhancing drugs.
The
So
only
I
the only
mean,
performance enhancing it can do is help you sleep better after a game and not hurt as much.
literally, man. Like, yes, there is benefits to weed. I'm not going to say there isn't, but at the same time, the benefits aren't helping your game. They're just, like you said,
They're
helping you
making
sleep.
you
Help.
they can make you like a healthier you can sleep better, right? Like so many hockey
Yeah.
players play a game. I was one of them. I could not sleep after games. You're playing a back to
Hmm.
back, then you've been laying there for hours and it starts getting in your head. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. And then all of a sudden it's like whatever time and you still haven't slept and you got a game the next day. And now that cannabis is legal here, and like hockey players could take cannabis instead of, say, drinking alcohol, which is worse for you, and then sleep and then feel good and play good the next day, right? And it's not
Um,
bad for you if it's not smoked. So, folks, Wake up. Sorry.
It's it's kind of wild, honestly. Like even where I skate in the summer is, I'm fortunate enough to be skating with a lot of NHLers and either AHL or NHL guys. I'm pretty much the only one not in show gear, but yeah, anytime they kind of ask me like what happened or whatever, when I explain it to them, they're like in shock, literally, because they
In
can't
shock.
believe that it's
Yeah.
yeah, they can't
Because
believe
they're
it's
all
only
doing
weed.
it.
Yeah, I mean,
They're,
yeah, obviously I'm not going to be throwing names out, but yeah, they are, and it
well, they're
is
doing
what
it
it
to
is.
fall
Like
asleep after a game, right? Or
100
whatever it
percent.
is, right? Like you don't have to smoke it. It doesn't have to be unhealthy. There are health benefits to it. I mean,
Mhm. I
craziness.
just, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the NHL has unbanned it,
Right.
literally unbanned it. So I mean, there's obviously benefits to it, and I guess just being in Europe, you gotta be careful. And I learned my lesson now. I'm not going to be screwing around with that anymore, I guess. But
Right. But what I'm saying is hopefully they change their stance on it and realize that hey, this might actually, it's not performance enhancing. It's not making you a better hockey player, but it is helping you get to sleep, you know?
yeah, like for me, it's kind of wild. Like when I was actually doing the drug test, I like you're allowed to ask questions and this and that, and the guy that was testing me, I asked him like what would show up in this test, because I knew it smoked through the summer and I knew there was a chance that there'd be THC in my system, right? And I kind of told him that, and I was like, yeah, like what is this going to affect anything? Am I going to test positive because I did smoke in the summer? And he just told me like, oh yeah, straight up, like, yeah, you should have did a line of coke instead. Like, dude, how are you comparing
And
coke
that
to weed, man? Like, how are
right.
you telling me to do coke instead of like this
And he's
makes
saying
no
that's
sense?
because it get out of your system faster.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like, dude, I don't know. I don't know how it comes to that, and I just think that mentality is a bit
I just
wild.
why I wrote like I wanted to show my support to you because I think it's absolutely absurd that you got suspended for a year over something that is legal here in Canada that you could go to the store and grab and then you go over there to work and like and then they literally say you can't work for a year over that. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. So there you go.
It's
And
yeah. I mean,
everybody says how good of a teammate you are. You're a proven winner. And I think Manchester just hit a home run.
I appreciate that, man. Honestly, it's like you said. The only part that sucks is you lose a year of, first of all, credibility. Your name goes through the mud. People still think it's coke for some reason. Like I said, you could go read the report, man. But yeah, people think the worst, and obviously, the memes come with it and this and that. You get chirped online, but man, I have no problem admitting it. Yes, I did smoke weed in Canada, and yeah, I was caught for it, but I never hid behind anything. I've never not said the opposite, and it is what it is. I don't think I should have lost a year out of
Right.
my hockey career, nor have they did try to keep me out of the league this year too, so that was kind of outrageous. So luck.
You can't restart the chat. So folks, I didn't think he sounded that good. We took the headphones out. I think he sounds better now, right?
There you go. This should be
See?
better.
You do. You sound great.
There.
No, but yeah, I couldn't imagine what you've gone through. Um, I know how it must have been really hard. You say like your name gets dragged, dragged through the mud, right? And it's like, man, with what you did, I don't think it's wrong at all. And then for everybody to think all these different things, and then they're probably posting things online and they're putting things on social media. It would have been a hard time of your life, right?
Oh man, I just think it was pretty fucking ironic that, people do smoke for anxiety reasons and, just basically calm yourself down. And
Yeah,
this just created more anxiety for me going through this. And people are, ripping me online and don't really know the full story. And, like shit happens in people's lives, man. Like it's not all about hockey. So yeah, your
right.
family life is sometimes a bit different. And, I was going through stuff that had a hard time dealing with. And I'm not saying it was the best way to deal with it, just smoking and trying to forget. But that's the, reality I was
Right.
trying to.
And realistically, though, it's better than drinking to forget, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so at the end of the day, yeah, I do, I did my 3 months in the summer now, and people still don't think I did my time, but at the same time, these people that are ripping me are just creating more anxiety and more,
right.
more
And it's
shit,
like,
and then
oh,
they
for
wonder
what?
why people
Yeah.
smoke. Well, you're the fucking problem at the
Uh,
end of the day.
and I think, I don't know. I just think the UK is very, very far behind in in cannabis. Like, now that I think about it, going over there, you don't see much of it. You wouldn't see much of it around. And I still don't see much of it around here. It's not like a
Mhm.
thing, but you can just go to the store and grab it. And then the people with anxiety, the people with sleeping problems, the people with chronic pain can go grab something conveniently and be healthier people and happier.
100%. I mean, like my first, like I said, the anxiety, this and that, and then just thinking of, I'm not much of a drinker, and I put on weight pretty easily. So down in a couple beers for me is putting on a couple pounds. You know what I mean? And
Right. And you're trying to be an athlete. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of contradicting itself, and then yeah,
Every trainer I had once I got to pro would say I would rather you smoke weed than drink.
100%. And but you see it the most in the coast, man. Like
Oh
that
yeah.
place is a jungle, and you kind of almost, people just need it to survive almost. Like I've heard in your other podcast talking about painkillers and this and that, but I've luckily never been like addicted or anything, close to addicted to painkillers. I rather stay off of it, but
And I was the
in
same. I don't think I was addicted to it, but like I had to do it to play, right? And then
Mhm.
you start taking it so much, it's like this can't be normal to
Yeah,
need this, right?
100%. It's
And
yeah,
and then you think about I like not, everybody can tell what I think now, but like then you got a plant that grows out of the ground and you can make it into things that you don't have to inhale that aren't bad for you. There's CBD that literally takes away chronic pain for people and can help them think about other things in their life, but how much their knee hurts.
mhm. Yeah, it's man, like you keep saying there's benefits and this and that, and people, I don't know if it's the mentality here or what it is, but people see it way worse than it actually is. And
Right. And I think making a pill in a factory is worse than using a plant that grows out of the ground, but maybe I'm crazy.
oh man, I mean, there, like I said, I don't think it'd be legalized in Canada if it were so bad, and
Right. Yeah.
I think it will eventually be legalized in the UK too. So what, when that day comes, then did I do something
Well,
so
you're like one of those kids, right? That went to jail back in the day for having a joint, and like now they're in the system and they're criminals, and it's like, come on,
how did, yeah,
now it's
things
legal.
change real quick. Yeah, exactly. So that's, I
Oh,
mean, yeah, wild, I guess.
well, we better move on, right? We got down a bit of a rabbit hole there, and you've had quite a career so far. So if we're gonna be ready for Thanksgiving weekend around here, we better move on because so where and what are you doing now? You got 2 games this weekend.
Oh yeah, yeah. First one's against Chef, which is
Oh dear. That's good.
yeah.
That's yeah, you're gonna be wound up, eh?
Oh
Shed
man,
boost right before it too. Look out, boys.
yeah. That's why I had to get on right away. No, yeah, that's for sure. We got Chef tomorrow.
Okay, here's a question because I don't have time to look it all up. How's Manchester doing so far?
I mean, honestly, they they're middle of the pack right now. We're doing pretty good, and
I can't believe how much better you sound now. I feel great.
you should have told me a lot earlier. Now I
I
feel
know,
awful.
I know. I didn't know how to improve it though. And then I was like, maybe it's the headphones. Okay, sorry. So they're middle of the pack right now, and that's in the Challenge Cup
EIPL.
and the league.
Actually, in the Challenge Cup, we're doing really well. So yeah, so basically, I think there's only like we need one more win or 3 more points or something like that to like clinch a Challenge Cup. I don't know,
Quarterfinal or whatever.
yeah, playoff or whatever
There
you.
you go. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're doing pretty well, and
So when
obviously
did you get over there?
yesterday, yeah,
You
yesterday.
got there yesterday. So you had jet lag?
Oh man, I couldn't sleep last night one bit. I just had to jump into practice this morning, but
I
Yeah.
always found what would happen to me is I'd wake up wide awake around like say midnight or 1 in the morning, and then you couldn't sleep again until like 6 or 7 in the morning, and then it's almost time to go to practice, and then you fall into the deepest sleep you've ever, and you wake up just totally screwed.
Oh man, yeah, it's honestly awful. I was falling asleep all day on the sofa, and then as soon as I try to head to bed, it's just twisting and turning and this and that.
Rumor has it you're staying with shed guy Matt Ginn.
Rumor is correct. Yeah, Ginner. Not only is he my coach, he's also my roommate at the moment. So
Jeepers,
yeah,
you better not leave a dirty toilet in the morning.
yeah. I'm like trying to clean up everything, trying to be real.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's been real cool with me.
Did you know him before?
We just knew each other from playing against each other, and
Right.
I was kind of his dark horse. So that's how he kind of got me here. To be honest,
You
I
used to
love playing.
score on him,
Oh man, I love
ran a
getting.
muck with him, eh?
Yeah. I think he extended my career a bit. No, I'm
What's interesting though is I found it's with arenas, with goalies and teams. There's certain teams you just dominate, and then there's some arenas and some teams you just suck against.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree.
It's
Man,
weird, right?
Dundee's been like, I don't want to say awful, but they have been a bottom of the pack team for a while, and I can't play there for if my life depended on it. And then there's teams like Manch that, like I said, it's a pretty good team, and and I don't remember a night that I didn't have 2 points against them. So it's pretty like up and down. I guess I perform
It's
better
weird
against.
how it works though. Like I remember that like there were certain teams that you're going into that arena and you're gonna do just fine. But then like for me, I don't know if I registered a point in Edinburgh. So but I had a hard time getting up for those games. So
Yeah, I can only imagine.
yeah.
Thankfully, they're not in the league anymore, but I heard quite the stories about that team.
So have you had a practice yet?
Yeah, basically, we ran like power play this morning, and that was pretty much it.
And then you went straight to the half wall, did you?
Straight to the half wall.
How the boy Getter.
Yeah,
Move him
yeah.
in. He must have been keeping the toilet clean this morning.
Oh yeah, Ginner was joking with me, throwing me front net, all 5'8" of me there, but yeah, no. Thankfully, he threw me on the half wall instead.
Nice. I like that. So I guess that's the day before a game practice, right? So she was pretty casual.
Yeah. Pretty like breakout stuff, and then power play
So
and
have you
go.
been skating or what have you been doing?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to skate at home. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that technically with the old UCAD thing, but
Oh, because you're not allowed to skate anywhere
yeah,
ever. Because
yeah,
because you had some cannabis, right?
yeah, banned
Okay.
from the sport, how they put it. So
Right.
yeah,
Not allowed to play and have fun in your life because
no, you're done.
right.
Just three
Yeah.
months of staying at home.
In
Um,
Canada, you're allowed to grow 4 plants per household.
that
Just so you know, UK. I know the UK is my honey hole. I'm just letting you know what's going on over here.
yeah. So I was like training on like I said, those with all those NHLers and the AHL guys. I was getting some games in on there, and then as soon as they left, I was kind of just didn't have any ice anymore. But
Right.
buddy of mine has some synthetic ice, so he was
Ooh.
lucky, nice enough to send me out there, and I just get some shots. And you can't do much skating out there, but
No. Okay. So who? I don't even know what you're allowed to talk about because my coach Lordo in Cardiff was a bit psychotic when it came to giving away game plans and stuff. But do you know who your line mates are tomorrow? Are we even allowed to talk about that?
I guess so.
Because I'm about to trade for you in that I'm in a fantasy EIHL league that the fans asked me to join, and I don't pay much
Really.
attention to it, but I know you can trade, so you're getting traded for.
Thanks, bud. Yeah, I think I'm with Critch and the Carter. Carter, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know them either. So, that's I don't know the roster. But yeah, it must be a whirlwind, right? I remember those days, like when I went to Germany the first time, I was on my way to an East or AHL camp, then to the East Coast, and I literally turned around and went to the airport. And that you get that phone call, you make that decision, and then all of a sudden you're going to an airport, you're gone, you're unpacking bags, and next thing you know, you're in a hockey game, right?
Yeah, it happens so quick. Like you said, it's just, for up to them, obviously, they would have flew me out that night. I was trying to get my dog across though, so that was kind of a bit of a problem. Unfortunately, the dog had to stay home for a bit, so he has to stay for 21 days, and then he'll get flown out in the next 20
Kind
days,
of
I
dog
guess.
are we talking here?
A little mini Aussie, so he's a cute little guy, but too many problems he's creating right now, man. Oh my god.
Well, I always took my dog overseas, and then when I was going to the UK, this is when I then had children too, but it was too big of a hassle, and they're talking about quarantining and the price, and it was like, this is the first year this isn't feasible, because in Germany, I remember when we first started going over there, it was like 250 euros to get the dog over there, and the team would pay for it, and it was great.
Yeah, like, that's what I was expecting, but I guess there's like no first of all, there's not many flights that actually allow dogs on now, so that was a disaster. Then just getting the dog into the UK, you can't actually fly the dog in. You have to like bring him by boat. So we'd have to fly to Dublin, take a
I
ferry.
remember these talks.
Man, it was
I
like,
remember this. Yeah.
and we were willing to do it. Don't get me wrong. It's just the day of the flight, we had to get these papers stamped by a vet, which I'm
Yep.
still pissed about. But yeah, she didn't want to stamp the papers and had to wait 21 days for these stamps now. So
Shut up. Really? I remember going through all that, and then we finally came to the decision that I was gonna like fly in somewhere else, and Colby and my wife were gonna go to Cardiff right away, and I would bring the dog from wherever. And then we're like, you know what? This doesn't work now. That my parents kept our dog for that last year. And yeah, it's tough though, right? Because the dog's like part of your life, right? Like my
100%.
dog before that, like Beckham, like he was with me through the whole time in Europe. He did everything with me. He came to practice with me in Germany.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I bring him everywhere. I was in KC last year, and he was, the games that I was injured, I'd literally bring him to the games and sit him with me. Like, he's a 10-pound dog, so no one's gonna
Right.
say anything, right? So yeah, but so it's kind of that part sucks, I guess, not having him here. But I mean, at least he'll be here in like 20 somewhat days there.
Okay. Well, that's good. So better keep moving on here. I can tell we can chat, so I better keep going or we're never gonna get through this. So last year, it's the piss test. You get the results, you find out you're suspended. So then how does this season play out? Because I see you got, what is it, 10 games played with Trois Riviere in that LLNHA, whatever. And you played in the coast for Kansas City, right? So, well, how does it all go last year?
So yeah, that Troy Rivera team is actually in the coast.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I
God.
was. So I basically,
Research team was, working
yeah, stay
fast.
hot there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was actually in Torrevieja at the beginning. Well, basically, as soon as I came back, I just went straight to Torrevieja. I was actually supposed to go to Fort Wayne for a bit more money, and then just with everything that happened and this and that, I kind of just Torrevieja is only an hour and a half away from home, so
I
I
had no
just asked.
idea there was a coast team in Quebec.
Yeah, it was their first year. Yeah, it was their first year last year.
Mm.
So yeah, I basically just kind of asked them like, hey, like I'd be willing to come, you know, uh, for less money
Hometown
than
discount.
yeah, for other from other places, just as long as you can assure me that I'll be here all year. And yeah, their GM at the time, well, still is. He's like, oh yeah, trust me, like I can guarantee you your spots here for the rest of the year. The one thing I'll tell you for sure is we're not the type of team to just bring you in for 10 games and then trade you off. And as
Yeah,
you can see from your numbers, I was literally there 10,
exactly 10 games.
exactly 10 games. So a bit of foreshadowing there,
Right.
but yeah, he sent me off after 10 games. And
Minor pro in North America can be a real meat market.
oh my God. Yeah. For
It's a
anyone that has
right.
the option
Yeah,
between the coast and Europe, just please do yourself a favor and get to Europe. Like it's
please. Yeah. You know what's tough though now to explain that to people is that there are quite there for a little bit there. I don't know if it's still happening. There was quite a few guys that had played in the coast that were then actually working their way up to the NHL. I don't know if that's still a thing, because now if guys don't make it to the show by the time they're 20, that's it, right?
You have half a year to make it, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no, there is the rare case. I won't say there isn't. There is the rare case, but I
But
mean,
you're right. Like, so I got to jump in. It's like when I went to Europe, it brought back my love of hockey, because in North America, the coast was more of a team than the AHL by a mile. But
mhm.
you go through a year and there's like 40 guys on a roster, 50 guys. It's not a team.
It's man, Troy Vieira went through 93, I believe. I checked it the other day because it was like
93, and that's because when you only play 10 games a guy.
yeah, exactly. They're just popping everyone in and out every 10 games. But yeah, it was man, for me, like you said, like I was after my first year pro, I was in the coast and I kind of hated hockey and for a while and just kind of forgot why you like it, to be honest, because it becomes such a stressful job. You never know when you're going to be gone. And I took that year off, well, not off. I went to Concordia and just kind of fell in love again with hockey, and things were going well, and then ended up in Denmark.
Well,
Did
so
pretty
you can't jump too far ahead on me, because I was curious about the major junior stuff, right? Because you guys did win it, but when you talk about going to Concordia, is did you not? So you play your rookie year, right? In the coast, and then you
yeah,
go to Concordia. So
yeah.
do you still have all the major junior school money from Rimouski?
Yeah,
And then
so
you get that deal, but then you left after 1 year.
yeah, because I played as a 20-year-old in the coast and not a 21-year-old, you don't have to wait that year of uneligibility, I guess, and you don't lose your money because you would technically still be playing junior as a 20, right?
So you're allowed to play a year pro and then still get your money.
Exactly, yeah. So I,
But
I
you
was
only played 1 year, so you didn't graduate.
no, nowhere near that. It was
So you would have still got your major junior money for school, but you did so well that it was time to go pro, right?
yeah, I mean, I always had in mind that I wouldn't be graduating from Concordia, to be honest. Before going there, it was kind of the reason why I went was my grandfather was sick at the time, and he had cancer, so I wanted to stay as close to him as possible. So being in Montreal was kind of the best option for me. And honestly, it ended up panning out because Concordia, you know, ended up being a real big jump for my career, and it
Well,
ended
you did pretty good. What did I have in the
up.
in the notes I had? You were the youth sports rookie of the year, and there's a lot of teams in youth sports.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest. It was I kind of told Concordia, like, you know I don't know if this is possible, but I'm coming more for the hockey than the school. So
I
I
think there's a lot of hockey guys do that, right?
yeah, exactly. And they were kind enough to, let's say, help me through school, and didn't really see the school until the old final exam there. But yeah,
Yeah,
it was yeah, it was a
I
great time,
understand.
man.
Okay. So last season when you played in Kansas City, was your goalie the guy that plays for Sheffield now?
Oh yeah, I was actually the his reference, basically. He
I
messaged
figured
me.
that. So when I saw that, Matt Greenfield, and I know how small the hockey world is now that I'm in my shed, I'm like, I bet that's how that guy gets to Sheffield.
Yeah, yeah. I kept talking to Greeny about it while we were in KC. You know, I he was
Because
on
he's
a
in the coast and you can see how good he is, and you're like, you should see it over there.
100%. And honestly, a lot of guys. It's funny that a lot of guys on that coast team ended up in Europe. So my bad, I guess. But
You're talking too much.
yeah, I was talking way too much. So I was like, yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of here. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So that ended up happening, and then Greeny texted me in the summer saying, "Hey, well, like, what do you think? Should I pull the trigger?" I was like, "Dude, don't even think of it. Like, 100% go." Like,
Yeah.
not
I
even.
think he's doing pretty good to start too.
Oh, phenomenal, man! I'm happy for him for sure. He messaged me actually when I signed in Manch right away. He's a great dude, man.
Oh, that's good. So you got to Manchester. So did Shed Guy Matt Ginn call you? Is that how it starts? Or do you have an agent that's taught you talking to agents? How's it work?
I do have an agent, but me and Ginner are, pretty tight throughout the years, and Finner, which is the GM here, kind of after
He's
every
a
game.
shed guy too. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
He's been on twice. He's one of my top scorers. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So Finner, back in the day when he was coaching, after every game, I'd have a good game against him. He'd just, every time shake my hand and be like, "Man, well, we got to get you here one time." And it was just kind of jokes at first and this and that. And then when Ginner became the coach, he messaged me saying, we'd be really interested and I'll try to do what I can to get you here. And at first, the contract talks weren't necessarily what I wanted. And yeah, then Ginner, I guess, put in a great word. And yeah, kind of got
And
what
then
I
you
wanted.
got it figured out.
Yeah, we all got it figured out. Everyone's happy
And you
now.
got the half wall.
And the half wall. Yeah.
That's hockey.
There you go. Happens that quick.
Okay. So growing up in Rosemere, Quebec, how do you get into hockey? And then what Saint Eustache Vikings? You
Yeah.
ran a muck there, eh?
Yeah, not bad there. Yeah, it was. I mean, we're from like a hockey town, and well,
So is that right by Montreal then?
yeah, it's like a suburb of Montreal, so like 30 minutes out. But yeah, we had so much hockey around. Every city has 4, 5, 6 teams. It's ridiculous in every category, right? You got the AA, AAA, all that stuff. So yeah, I was fortunate enough to come through pretty much the hockey world right since I was born into it, right? So
Yeah.
it was, everyone's competing, there's so many good hockey players around you, you kind of just get better.
So what's QMAAA? What league is that? Is that juniors? What is that?
That's
Before
the
you get to the Q.
midget AAA, yeah.
Midget AAA.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you played on one team and then you switch from Saint Eustache to Lac Saint Louis. Why do you switch?
Yeah.
How's my French? How's my French? Good.
Unbelievable, man.
Thank you.
Doesn't even show yeah.
Je parlais un petit peu français.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, actually, people always laugh at that story, to be honest. If you're from Montreal, you kind of get it. Lac Saint Louis is like that, known as the rich boy town that kind of, there's rumors that they pay their players.
Oh,
they don't.
No, right. That's not why you went there.
No, honestly, that is
right. Okay. I see what you're trying to say without saying it.
No.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's cool.
It was
80 points in 43 games. I guess they got their money's worth.
Yeah. In all honesty, they did not pay me. I swear they did not pay me.
To minor hockey folks, they're not going to pay them, right?
I might, maybe a little discount on the season, but yeah, that was it.
Fresh pair of skates, baby. One guy on that team was Jonathan Drouin. He's a player.
Yeah, man, that was unbelievable to play with him. He was disgusting. He could do whatever he wanted out there. When he left left with 20 games and he still finished top scorer of the league. Like, he was legit, I think 10th or whatever. It was ridiculous. Finished with 50 points in 20 games. It was.
You did all right too.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So you did make Team Quebec also, and under 17, and you had some players on that team too.
Yeah, man, it was. We were actually very good in that tournament, which is surprising.
Right. Was the goalie Zach Foucault? Did he played World Juniors, right?
Yeah, he's actually one of my really good buddies. We grew up like a couple.
I figured that he's the research team saw him a few times.
Yeah, Rosemere boy. Yeah, we're five really close friends there that always kind of stick together in the summer, and he's part of that group. So yeah, it's pretty cool that.
Okay, here's a question. So how much French and English is it in Rosemere?
I mean, all my buddies are English, but yeah, there is French. I'm not saying there isn't, but yeah,
it's like a mix of just English and French.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
that's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, English, French, and then Italian. I'd say that's the other third one in there.
Right. Good healthy mix in there, eh?
Yeah. Everyone's screaming. Yeah.
Okay. So where's Fukali now?
He's actually at Washington's camp right now.
Okay.
He might have got sent down to the A, but last year he played his first game in the NHL, got a shutout, which is pretty unbelievable, man.
That
And
is.
then yeah, and then his second game, the first goal that went in is actually when they pulled him to for a 6-on-5 for a power play, and they iced it down the ice into his net. So it technically wasn't a goal against him, but like
Right.
yeah, it's pretty sure he has like the record of the
Longest without a goal.
longest streak without a goal for his first like start or whatever, his first starts. Yeah.
Another question. So I think you learned how to become a winner in the Memorial, or not the Memorial Cup, in junior there with Rimouski, right? You guys win it. But
Yep.
why didn't you play in the Memorial Cup?
That was a real bad misunderstanding between the coach and I, and
Really?
yeah, that was
You
yeah.
guys won the championship and then you weren't injured.
No, I wasn't injured. No, it was he thought I was partying, and I wasn't. I'm at the Mem Cup. Like, I'm definitely not gonna be partying at the Mem Cup.
Yeah.
And yeah, he kind of just heard it through the grapevine, and then night number one, he comes into my room like barging in, and he's like, where's everyone? Where's everyone? Dude, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, I heard you're throwing a party in here, this and that, and that was clearly not true. There was no one in there. So yeah, then night number two rolls around. He's like, yeah, walks in, same thing. All right, where are all the girls at? Where's the party? This and that. I'm like, dude, there's no
And he's
party.
just barging into your bedroom?
Yeah, like in our hotel room.
Like not even yeah.
So third day, we were 0-2 to start, and we needed a win against Quebec to advance. So he tells us, go see your family. We're not gonna have a team day. Go hang out with your family, go hang out with your girlfriend, this and that. And I hung out with a girl in the afternoon, and it was, just whatever. We just hung out and this and that. And for some reason, he thought I broke curfew that night
With
with
no
that girl.
proof.
Yeah, with no proof. And he had asked my roommate, and my roommate was like, "No, man, like it was at like 2 in the afternoon. Like you saw him at dinner."
It seems weird that it's like this coach wanted to cause problems when he's in the Memorial Cup. Like, dude, enjoy the ride.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, we made it here, man. Let's enjoy it. And yeah, so basically that ended up happening. My roommate, yeah, one of my good buddies, Andrew Pico, he literally
Was in a pickle.
yeah, in a pickle. Yeah, he was no, but he honestly said the truth, and and he kept grilling him, saying like, dude, if you don't say it, like you're not gonna play. So,
What?
but what was he gonna say? Like,
Yeah.
he had to lie to play. So it actually wasn't true what he was bringing up. So Pico, stuck to his word, and he's like, no, man, like I
This
literally
sounds
saw
bizarre.
yeah, I saw him in the afternoon, this and that. And anyways, so he ended up scratching me in picks game one or game three which was my first game. And then he said, yeah, basically, yeah, if we win, you might be in tomorrow, you might not be in, this and that. And then didn't allow us to go eat with the team, made us stay in our room. So we had to order Domino's that night, which was kind of wild. And
That just sounds like a real sideshow when you're in the middle of like a
yeah,
huge tournament. That doesn't
yeah,
need to happen. Like,
yeah. So basically that all happened, and then whatever. Yeah, that after the tournament, I ended up speaking with him and this and that, and he said sorry and he regrets his decision. And at the same time, it's done. And I look like an
right.
idiot, and it is what it is. But I mean, I'm glad he owned up to it and said that he made a mistake. It
That's
sucks that it reflects
yeah,
on
that sucks for you. That sucks for the team.
yeah,
Sucks for
100%.
him. Like that's
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird time. I think at the time he was kind of panicking, like throwing. I know one of our lines had like three of our centermans on it, so that like made no sense. We were like, yeah, but I mean, I think
sometimes when you get to the big stage, right? Coaches can act pretty weird, right? Like I've had coaches act pretty weird when you're getting to the finals, when you're getting to like the big games, they all of a sudden are like totally different. And you're like, slow down.
Trying to pull a big move when you know all the moves have been working already.
Right. Let's just stick with what we've been doing. That's why we're here.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, I get along with him now and all that. And that's behind us, and it just sucks that it happened because I find him a phenomenal coach, to be honest. And I've
Yeah.
learned so much throughout the years, and now that I look back, he's one of the best coaches I've ever had. So it just sucks that that kind of tainted the
That
relationship.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you ran a muck that year, though, the one we're talking about. You had 18 playoff points in 19 games played. You go, your team wins it. So then what are the pro options? You sign in the coast with Wichita?
Yeah, that was
And part of it's going to be because he scratches you in the Memorial Cup, because that's going to get some publicity. That's not going to help your name.
No, I was thinking more of an NHL camp coming out of there that year, to be
Yeah,
honest.
91 points and 68 games played in the regular season.
Yeah, and then you don't.
And then
get
you
it.
sign with the Wichita Thunder. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that the coach, I know you guys are buddies now, but
Yeah.
kind of screwed you. So
Yeah, kind of screwed.
that's going to get some publicity, right? And then all of a sudden, it doesn't take long. A couple strikes in the hockey world and you're out, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it's, you know, one bad word of mouth and your name is kind of tainted, right? So that definitely sucked for me. I would have loved to get a show camp under my belt, and it just looks a lot better too going to a show camp. And at the time, my agent, which I didn't know, was he was kind of lying here and there, and
there were some bad ones out there.
Yeah, I found out he worked at Best Buy like later on when my brother was literally took a picture of him, like this guy's
working at Best Buy.
Yeah, literally, like couldn't believe it. Yeah, so and even at the NHL draft, he was telling me, you know, oh, by the fifth round, you're for sure like you're gone 100%. Like don't even worry about it. And he was throwing out names like LA and New Jersey and this and that. So every pick that would come up, he'd be like, yeah, trust me, you're coming. Like, watch the TV, it's your name. So I'd be like waiting with my brother and like hoping to get picked, and then like, oh, there, so and so got picked. Like, oh, fuck me. Like, so yeah, it was a pretty long draft. And then after that, he suggested that I had done 2 Subway Series already. So as a 20-year-old,
that's pretty cool that you were on that team, right? You were playing Russia, and that means you're one of the best players in the league. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm the only person to ever play in it and not get drafted, which is wild, man. Like,
well, and actually, a shed guy that lives right around here also played. Was Garrett McFadden. I don't know if he's around your age. Maybe not. He's probably way younger than you. I don't know. Not way younger. He's about the same. He's a few years younger than you.
Brother, by any chance? I might have played with his brother.
No. But anyways, he played. I went and watched him play, and it came up, and he was another guy that didn't get drafted and played for. It's Canada, right?
Yeah, like it's basically there's only 3 teams in Canada, so that is technically like part of Team Canada's camp.
Right.
And which is weird enough, is it says 3 on Elite Prospects. I had 4 points in 2 nights on my second year. So I actually led Canada in scoring and didn't get an invite to the camp or anything. So
and it comes back to that Memorial Cup thing.
Yeah,
for sure it does. That's anyways. Okay. Wichita Thunder, 16 games played, 6 points. Anyways, I don't know what happens there. So then you go to Alaska, you get traded.
Yeah, I'm awful in the coast. It just is what it is. I'm just terrible in the coast for some reason.
You don't think you're good in the coast?
Dude, I'm terrible. It doesn't even make sense.
I found the coast hard the year I played there. Took me a while to figure it out.
I don't know if it's playing with those wood sticks they give you or whatever it is, but
tough sticks. Yeah.
I just feel like I can't shoot once I get down there, man. It's just like different game.
Right. The bus trips, the sleeping, a lot of it candid, you know, to thrive down there. You're
not necessarily in the best hockey mood down there.
No, you're not always that happy to be there and playing hockey.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. So how was living in Alaska?
Wild experience. I mean, pretty happy I ended up doing it, but at the time you're miserable, man. It's like,
Because you're from Montreal.
oh yeah, it's completely different. It's nowhere near Montreal, but yeah, it's. I mean, there's some sick views. There's all that stuff, right? You see stuff you'd never see before. You know, driving to the rink, you'll see a bear on the side of the road, which is kind of wild. But
Really?
oh man, that was this things we would see. Like, back home in Montreal, you get a raccoon eating your garbage, right? In
Yeah.
Alaska, it's a full grown moose. So it was kind of like absolutely a different world over there. But it was really cool to be able to witness it and say
And
that
live
you
it.
actually
Yeah.
lived in Alaska.
Yeah, no kidding. So then after that year, then you go to Concordia. So then Friedrichshafen. So after your huge year in Canadian University, being rookie of the year of all of it, you don't go stay in North America. You go to Denmark. Why is that?
At the time, I didn't even have offers in North America, which is kind of wild because
Rookie of
nowadays,
the year and all. Yeah, that's
yeah,
weird.
you would usually get like an A deal out of that, and I don't know. It's I've never really got a sniff at the AHL, which is a lot of people find that surprising. And I would have loved to at least give it a shot because I do think I would have probably done better in the A than the coast. Just you know the style of game and this and that, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
So I ended up
it's
in
a
Denver.
bizarre world in North America. So you end up in Friedrichshafen. You in the new barn then?
It was yeah, that it's like really up there in the north of
Oh,
Denmark.
I
It was
played for Sunderjyski.
Oh, did you have Mario as a coach by any chance?
No, he did not coach that year. He had stepped back. It was Dan Siemens' first year as head coach. Yeah.
So you hit the
Um, well, I liked playing for Dan a lot, and I heard Mario could be tough.
yeah, yeah.
Was he your coach or something?
Yeah, Mario was my coach in Frederickstown. It was
I heard it could be difficult.
yeah, man, I was called all kinds of names that year. It was unbelievable. I had for the first time in my hockey career, I was told that I had an awful shot. So I mean, that was a new one for me. But
That can
yeah,
hurt your feelings.
yeah, I know. It was he like kind of tried to get me fired a couple times and tried to do like these skating
Nice.
tests. So he like created the skating test thinking that I was really out of shape. And so you had to skate from goal line to blue line and back, and you had 30 seconds to do it. And then that was pretty much your like whatever your
Goal
time
line to blue line
and
and
back, and then whatever
just
your
once.
no, it was 6 times, but between your six, you had like whatever time it took you to the rest of 30 seconds was your rest. So if you did it in 13 seconds, whatever, you had 17 seconds rest,
Oh
right?
God.
And he would time
And you'd go until you couldn't do it.
exactly, right? And he would time like your first skate to your sixth skate, how much time you lost between the skates, and basically saying you were out of shape, right?
Oh yeah. I would have failed that test big time.
And yeah, he had basically done that to get me out of his team, and I ended up finishing like first on the team. So he was absolutely rattled, man. He was losing it. He's like, man, how you fat and skating like this and that? And he still called me out after all that. Like, I passed your test and you're still
And
rattled.
you're still just don't, yeah. See, I don't know him personally. I never really spoke with him other than on the phone after the season, but he was living in the town in Boyance when I was there. And at the end of the season, when they asked me to kindly leave and we had won the championship and I'd done well, and I had nothing. I had a son and I had a bun in the oven and I had no job. And it's like I just finished second in the league in scoring. We win the championship, and now it goes on elite prospects, Brent Walton to unknown. And it's like I look like a bad guy. I look like a bad teammate. And it's like, and then Mario was the one that like actually made calls for me, and I didn't even know him. He had just watched me play that year.
Really?
And
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. So I don't have anything bad to say about the guy. I just heard it can be hard, challenging to play for him.
It's weird because off the ice we had such a good relationship, and he would call me into his office all the time, and he'd be like, "Man, I find this unbelievably hard because I hate you as a player and love you as a person. Like, dude, what do you mean? Like,
That's not a shed boost. That's the opposite.
yeah. So he was. We had like this little. We had a Japanese kid on our team that wasn't making much money. He was just kind of there to make his name.
That
And
was a question. You have a Japanese import. That's on the notes.
oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
research team was hot.
we had a Japanese import, and he was just living in like this student dorm thing, and didn't have a car. Like, didn't if I felt really bad for him, so I just offered him like, hey man, like I can pick you up every day. Like I don't really mind. Like, you know what I mean? It's not a big
Yeah.
detour for me. Like, just I don't want to see you fucking walking in the rain to the rink type thing, right? So I was doing that, and I was just helping him out, buying him like lunch every once in a while and this and that. And Mario found out, and that's why I guess he loved me as a person. He was saying like, you're such a good-hearted guy, but you step on the ice and I fucking hate you. So it was just like, yeah, it was a weird relationship because we did like each other off the ice. It's just
That is a weird relationship.
yeah. Yeah, pretty
Your
wild.
goalie
Yeah,
was Thomas Lilypads.
yeah.
He, he was our goalie or he was our backup goalie in Sundaruski.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good goalie. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was just a young punk back then. He might have been like 17. Our
Oh.
goalie was Alfie Michaud, who would play like most of the games. But so when you were in Denmark, you were way up north. Do they have a high-end hot dog game too?
Yeah, I guess that's a thing in Denmark, right? Everyone,
They love hot dogs, right?
man, weird. Like
They like hot dogs.
yeah, they
I don't know if their wieners are that high end, but they got a good bun game,
I think it's the bun. I think it might be the bun.
I still never figured out the remoulade sauce either, but we better move on, right? Okay. So then after that year in Frederikshavn, you probably, when a coach is talking to you like that and stuff, probably don't want to go back or what?
Yeah, no, I had said like there's not a chance that I go back there.
You don't want to do that again. Why would you?
No. Yeah, like I had a pretty productive year and I played on the fourth pretty much all year. So
Well, and then, yeah, when a coach doesn't like you, he's not going to give you that much ice time, right? So
yeah, like I wasn't on power plays and stuff. So it was
really,
yeah, it was kind of wild, honestly. And when I was on the power play, I was front net, so it was wasn't it
Yeah,
wasn't really,
yeah.
it didn't,
there's some strange stuff that goes on in the hockey world when it's like, why wouldn't you always have like the best guys at what they do what they do best? But hey, what do I know? The next season, the Brantford Beast, you played 2 games for?
that was just basically trying to get to Europe as quick as possible and didn't really have much.
So you went that whole summer, then you don't really have anything, but you wanted to be going back to Europe.
Yeah, like I said, I was never really a fan of the coast, so for
Right.
me it was get there as soon as possible, and that kind of
So then
Yeah,
how
that
does it
was-
come up with Sheffield then? How do you get there?
So basically, as soon as I left Brampton, I got, before even getting home, it was a 6-hour drive, and before even getting home, I had people messaging me and this and that, is where you heading, and the first kind of big name that popped up was Sheffield, and at the time their coach was Tom Barrasso.
Mhm.
So I found that pretty wild that Tom was interested in me and this and that. And the only thing was I wasn't in very good shape when throughout that summer and this and that, not knowing if I had a job. And obviously, with
yeah.
hindsight, I should have been in great shape. But
Right.
yes, so I showed up in Sheffield, and
Not the best of conditions.
no, I was awful. I had 0 points in my first 20 games, and then finished with 20 goals in my last 20. So it was like
It was that bad of a start?
when I'm not exaggerating when I mean 0 points in my first 20 games, like actually none. The fir's game that I got a
And they didn't gas you?
that's where I was going actually. Tom had a meeting with me, and he was like, "Look, I'm gonna be straight up. The way you worded your contract was lucky on your end because we can't technically fire you, but we still will if you don't put up any points." And and then that weekend he said, "I'm giving you your last chance. Like, if you don't put up anything this weekend, it is what it is. You're gone." And that first game, I got a hattie. So
That would
I
feel
needed that.
good. That would feel good.
Yeah, exactly. Had a game winner and shootout too against Nottingham. So that was it was a pretty big weekend for me. And then it was
Yeah.
all yeah, everything took off
That's
from
pretty cool though that you showed the character and the perseverance. Like there's a lot of guys that start out like that. They can never find their footing with that team. They're never going to figure it out on that team. You see it all the time with the research team. It's like once a guy's having a bad go in a town, they always leave and go somewhere else. And then maybe they turn it around. But that like you figured it out. I
yeah,
like that.
honestly, it was pretty cool of Tom to give me the heads up. And like I said, I wasn't in good shape. I won't say I was, and I'll always admit to my mistakes. I have no problem doing that. And he kind of told me like, dude, you have this week, so get in shape and get ready. And I'm the type of guy that when I set my mind to it, I'm gonna head to the gym. I'll do my stuff and this and that. And it
You'll be
definitely
ready.
showed in the first weekend. Yeah.
I think it's cool though, because like Sheffield loved you there. Then the rest of that season, you must have got her going then, because you ended up with 17 goals. And is that the year you win the Challenge Cup?
No, we won the Challenge Cup the year after that. Yeah.
When you get 47 points in 42 games and
Yeah,
win the Challenge Cup.
yeah, not a bad season at all.
No, so then like you're really finding your groove, and that's when you're really hitting your stride with Sheffield. And then is that when it gets shut down?
Yeah, exactly. So we played that Challenge Cup, and then the next weekend we were on the Friday we had our more classic morning skate and all that stuff, and just get going through the motions for the Saturday game. And as we're done that skate, our owner comes in the room. He's like, "Yeah, you guys got to pack up. Like the UK's shutting down,
Yeah.
so you guys got to get out of here." And at the time, like no one really knew what COVID was, right? So it was kind of just like, all right, like here's what it is, and we'll probably be back either in 2 months or whatever. And I actually left all my stuff in the apartment thinking I'd be
Did
back.
you?
Yeah, I mean, I had no clue what what
Yeah.
COVID was gonna be. So I just left my stuff there, and then thought we'd either finish the season or just start the next season, right? So and
And then
then
you've never been back with them
no, I did go back. I definitely, yeah, I did go back for my third year, and that's where the suspension happened actually.
before it starts.
Yeah, so I no no I played my I played
Research
a
team
couple.
was panicking today.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So yeah, my third year was after COVID. I went to Germany for a bit.
Right.
That was then I actually, yeah, we'll go back to that. But then went to Sheffield. First game of the season against Cardiff, they drug test me. So they were supposed to take
That's
2
the
weeks.
same season as the passed out Blackhawks.
Yeah, no, this is the same season as the East Coast. So all of last year basically.
Right. Okay. And then the COVID year is pass out where you go there for 7 games.
Yeah. So yeah, that
And
was
were you in Canada at that point, or flying from Canada to Germany, and you stayed only 7 games?
yeah, I did that, and then I caught COVID in Germany. And
Mhm.
basically I got there, we were supposed to have an apartment. We never got our apartment. We were in a hotel. I caught COVID in the hotel. Then I wasn't cleared to play. So doctor's like, well, there's only 2 imports on the team, so guess what? You're playing, bud. It is what it is. So yeah, I kind of got thrown in.
Speaking of that, I'll bring up a story of mine then. This is well pre-COVID. This is 2007. I got some kind of thing in Germany, and there was 5 imports on a team, but the imports were supposed to play.
Oh, yeah.
So I literally was in the fetal position, shitting and puking on the floor, like in the bathroom. And like this is the first year in Germany where the wife got, she's not that comfortable with doing it much. But she actually called the team and she's like, I think he's dying. Like I think this, he's laying on the floor, like shitting himself and puking or whatever. And they're like, okay, we'll get him help. And then the next day, whenever is a game day, and they get me into this doctor, and I'm like cooked. And they give me some IVs, get the juice in me, and they're like, well, we'll see you at the game tonight.
Yeah, I was there with the captain of Sheffield, Jonathan Phillips, and I
Chad
told him,
guy.
yeah. Oh, really? There you
Oh
go.
yeah. 2
So
times.
Jono was, yeah, Jono kind of saw me the first day and he's like, man, I think you have COVID. Like, just kind of joking around. I'm like, dude, I don't have COVID. Like, shut up. And we ended up doing the test because the other team we played against ended up testing positive for COVID. So yeah, at this time I had like 5 points in 3 games in Germany, which I was,
And
doing.
then you played with COVID for a couple weeks and didn't do as well, did they?
Dude, I actually took 2 weeks off because you have to take 2 weeks off.
Right.
And then as the 14th day it rolled around, I went to because I guess someone in the Dell had like a heart problem after COVID. So I had to go get like my heart checked out at the doctor, and that's when the doctor said like you're not cleared to play. And the team was like, "Well, we have 2 imports. We're only paying you guys, so yeah, you're playing." So I'm like, "All right, like, dude, I haven't eaten in 2 weeks. Like, I'm literally taking, I was taking the sheets off my bed, covering the entire shower to make a steam room in there. I'd leave the shower on for an hour. Be like, all right, John, I'll see you later, buddy. I'm going in the shower for an hour, man. And I'd steam myself, hopefully, like trying to get
Trying to
this.
get it out.
Yeah, like literally, I had nothing else to do, right?
Yeah.
And I was doing that 2, 3 times a day, just trying to feel better. And obviously, when you're steaming 3 times a day, you're probably not feeling so hot, right? So,
No.
yeah, it was tough, man. I came back and in the last game that it kind of all happened, the coach asked me like, "Dude, do you like what are you doing? You're awful out here. Like, do you even want to be here?" And I was like, "No, man, I have COVID. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, obviously, I want to be at my house resting."
Yeah.
And he took that as, "Yeah, you're gone." So I was like,
Smell
"Okay,
smell you later.
see you later, buddy." Yeah. So
So Jono was your roommate over there?
yeah, me and John lived together. It was oh
He's
my
got
god.
tough toes, eh?
Oh, bro. Brutal toes, but what a legend of a guy, man. I can't
I
say
know.
what oh man, he was literally like a father to me over there, and the guys kept chirping us about that. He'd like run into my room while I'd be gaming and he'd be like, Anthony, we're eating in 30 minutes, so you better be off that game, buddy. All right, man. Thanks.
That sounds like me with my kids.
He was hilarious, man. We had like a daily schedule that we would practice at like 7 o'clock at night or something. So in the morning we'd go like get groceries. I'd have to go with him to like spend time with him. Then I was allowed to game
You
during
gotta
the day.
spend time with dad before you game. I'm the
Literally,
exact same.
literally. So
Good
then
work,
I'd go,
Jono. Doing it right, buddy.
then I'd go and I'd game for like the afternoon, whatever. We'd go to practice and he'd be cooking all day. Like he was a phenomenal cook. So he'd be cooking all day. He'd get supper ready for after practice. Then we eat together at the table. We'd have to watch a movie every night. And then he'd be like, okay, at 10 o'clock after movie time, then you're allowed to go game again. Like, dude, he'd make tea at like 11 o'clock every night during the movie. He'd be like, oh, tea time, mate. Just go grab
So you're
some
saying he
tea.
likes routines and he likes schedules.
Yeah, man, he was an absolute legend of a guy, man.
Yeah. He is an awesome guy. And that's what I love about the starting this is that I get to meet dandies and
Oh man,
yeah,
what a beauty. What a beauty.
fun times. Passau, that was by Bavaria though, right? But I guess
Yeah,
you wouldn't have got to do much fun stuff in COVID. So I'm not even talk about Germany anymore. Okay. So then that next year is when you go to so then you fly home and then you're back until you get to Sheffield.
exactly.
The season's starting, and then that happens the first game of the year.
Yeah, first game of the year. So that was I think well, it was 17 days after I got to Canada. I know this because of the deposition now, but yeah, they so basically then they
The
drug tested.
deposition.
Yeah, it was wild, man.
What a joke.
It was crazy, honestly. So this they said if you don't hear anything in the next 2 to 3 weeks, like you're in the clear. So like 2 worst weeks of my life, obviously, thinking I got
Right.
caught.
Right.
And
And I bet yeah,
then a month rolls around and the boys are literally celebrating, right? We go out for drinks and it was a Tony Pass party, right? So
yeah.
we end up like celebrating all that and it was like kind of a whatever good time. And then 2 or 3 months into the season, I get called into the office one day right before a game and they're like, yeah, like we got a note from the league that you failed the drug test. on the first game of the season. Dude, what do you mean? This was like, thought this
Months
was
ago.
done with. Yeah, like what? So basically, yeah, it took forever for them to do that, and then I had to fly home right away. And then as I flew home, that Trois-Rivières thing happened, right? And as I show up to Trois-Rivières, we're playing on the road, and then the UCAD lawyer sends me an email saying if you play, you're going to be banned from sport for even longer until basically you serve your
Banned
suspension
from sport.
from sport. Yeah. So
Is
yeah,
it like grow up, people?
yeah,
Banned from sport.
it was
Can't
yeah, it
make
was
a livelihood because you had some cannabis.
yeah, it was
Seriously?
crazy.
Like,
So
oh,
we had to get actually a lawyer involved from Canada saying like, dude, you can't ban someone that it's first of all, there's no drug tests in the coast, nor would you be suspended for having weed. So you
so
can't ban
what's your
something.
problem,
Yeah, like
guys?
how are you suspending him in a league that you have no authority over? So yeah, they kind of got on their high horse and thought they can suspend me, and it wasn't, it wasn't a case. They said they were going to send it to the CCES, which is like the Canada
These people
Center.
need to get bigger problems, man.
Yeah, it was wild, man. Like it was just a whole ordeal that didn't need to
Over
be.
cannabis. It just, man,
Yeah,
there's the people that are really cheating, you know?
yeah, exactly. There's
It's like,
actual, yeah, there's
there's people that are actually cheating. And if
yeah,
you, and even if it was like a street drug, whatever, it's like, well, you're the one screwing up your own career, right?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. If anything, like and they in the deposition actually they said like because my defense was basically what they said is you'd smoke the day of the game, which doesn't make sense whatsoever. Before the game, they were saying. So I was, that
so
was
then
out
you're
of
going
the
to be
question.
right zoned in, or is that what they're
Yeah.
thinking?
So they were the way they said it was, you'd be calmer and you'd be more. I don't even know what they said. Basically, like that I would have more poise or whatever. Like with the
Really? Really?
and our point of view was obviously you can't smoke and play sport, right? Like it would just destroy your game. And we said Anthony had a point in the first game and this and that. Like, how would he have put up a point
Yeah.
if he was high? And they were like, yeah, exactly. That's what we're saying. Like, he got a point because he was high. Like, what do you mean? Man? Like,
But he got
no,
all these points before.
yeah, exactly. Like, what the hell, man? It was, yeah. So it was.
Oh, that actually upsets me hearing it. To honestly,
Oh,
like what you've had to deal with in your life, what you've had to deal with the last year, I think is such horse manure. And that, like, even after the fact, say you fail it and say, okay, well, that's the rule. There's no weed. And it's be like, okay, well, that's the rule. Then, okay, then the suspension is what it is. Like, that was the rule. Fine. But like for them to do all this stuff and try and get you to not play in these coasts, try to not make you make money, get a life.
yeah. It's like, and that's what I was saying. Like, dude, like I've played hockey my entire life. Like, I don't know what you expect me to do. I can't just pick up a job and just say, like, yeah, you know what? Let me become a lawyer. Like, no, that's not how life works, man. Like,
Yeah.
you got to re-go to school, read it. Like, it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm a hockey player and that's my job. So, I'd like to do it until I can.
Right.
It only lasts a certain amount of time, anyways. So, like, you're killing a year of my career here by
And
for
also dragging the name through the bud and the full
that.
deal. Like, oh
And those,
man.
yeah, and like I said before, they also didn't want they didn't want me in the league this
I'm
year.
just curious, like when those this is Wally talking, folks, just so you guys know, is when these people go home at the end of the day, like, do they feel good about themselves? Like when they're going to sleep at night, do you think they feel good about themselves that they're like, you know what? I think we really gave it to that guy today. You know what? He's not even gonna get to play in the East Coast this year after we already gave it to him. I think we should really try and give it to him some more and then go to sleep tonight.
Like already that you're taking a massive pay cut from leaving Europe to go play in the coast. That alone was a suspension. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's enough. I got to
That's
get on these buses and go do this shit again.
like that's like
Seriously, I got to go do this shit again. That's a
seriously, like
suspension.
man.
Like,
I
yeah,
told myself I'd never be back there, and you know, I won't lie, Kansas City treated me well, and it was, you know, great arena, great, you know, I loved everything about it, but other than the league itself, it's just I'm not, you know, I'm not a fighter. I'm not looking to fight. It is what it is. It's just, you know, and in the coast, that's what you do. Like, you know, it's the
Is there
jungle for
still
a reason,
fighting there?
man.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's every night.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought
Oh
it
yeah.
changed.
No, I wish it did, but no. Still the old same.
um, well, I better get rolling here. I got, it's Thanksgiving here in Canada this weekend.
Oh man, living the dream, man.
Well,
Feasting over there.
yeah, just full weekend, and the little fella tonight is for the junior C game in town. He's
Oh,
the
nice.
flag bearer, so he's going to be ripping around with the flag with Shed Guy Will. Episode 145, my team from last year, the Concurrent Canucks. A couple Shed guys ripping around the junior game tonight with the flags.
Unreal, man.
But yeah, I better let you go too. I know Jono doesn't have you on the clock. Maybe you're allowed to game tonight before the big game tomorrow. So right? I don't know what the coach is gonna have you do. He's probably gonna get some video out though, eh?
Yeah, I might have to go rip into the other room there. Ginner might have a couple.
He's probably got the video clipped. Eh? He's probably got practice. He having you on the
He's
half wall already
he's been
clipped. And he's
listening
like,
the
"Did you
whole
see
time.
here? You see here?"
He's just listening outside the room. He's ready to rip me as I walk out. Like,
No,
What'd you say about
he
it?
knows you're getting a shed boost. He's oh boy, tomorrow you're gonna run amok. Sorry, Simsy, giving a shed boost right before the orange. My bad.
That's exactly what I need against them. That would be the dream.
It would be. Can't wait to see it happen. Right?
Oh man,
And great getting to know you, and it's great having you back in the EIHL. When I hear about good dudes in the league, word travels fast, and that's why I wanted to have you on. And I also, yeah, I think to lose a year of your career overall, I think everybody knows where I stand on it, but like there are benefits to it. It can change people's lives if that they can think about other things other than just say a chronic pain all the time. They can actually think about like, getting research teams hot and all that sort of stuff, right?
Man, I appreciate you having me on here. Honestly, it was a pleasure.
No, seriously. And good luck. And I'm a Storm fan. I'm a bigger Devils fan, but Matt Ginn, Brian Fitterty, and now the Duke.
The Duke.
And this has been another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with the Duke and Wally.